Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Main Topic Media Podcast. It's Manny Bands, and I want to let y'all know who I got on the channel, Kenny Lilly with Do the Math 24/7. How you doing, Kenny, bro?
Good. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing out there?
I'm good. Thank you.
And I want to say thank you for coming down and sitting down with us on Main Topic Media, man.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. So, and I want to ask you the first question. Are you from the Des Moines area?
No, so I'm actually from originally from Seattle, Washington, and then lived in Southern California for about 15 years. Then I moved out to Iowa. So,
okay, so
moved out here from pretty basic California.
So California. How long have you been in the Des Moines area?
A little over 6 years now.
6 years?
Yeah.
Oh, you fairly new.
Yeah.
For sure. So I want to ask you, can you explain to us what is Do the Math?
Yes. So Do the Math 24/7 is it's a positive message on respect, unity, and equality.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically broken down in 5 different math symbols.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the message standpoint. So for add respect, add kindness. For subtract hatred, subtract bullying, subtract injustice. For multiply love, peace, unity. For divide, even though there's division in society, we're stronger unified, which is indivisible.
Mm-hmm.
And equal stands for equality, equal rights, equal opportunity. And 24/7 stands for all the time. So
All the time.
Do the Math 24/7.
Okay, Do the Math 24/7. So are you a teacher?
No. So what we have is well, I'm definitely a community advocate.
Okay.
What we have is a character building after school program.
Okay.
So we go into schools and we teach on respect, kindness, peer pressure, leadership. Definitely we teach on anti-bullying.
Yeah.
Teamwork, different things like that. So we also have a school fundraising program, and then we also have an apparel line. So there's different ways in which we, spread our message, but majority of the time is programming in schools. So either during the school day or after school. So
okay.
And that's K through 12. So
I was gonna say, are you in the high schools or are you in the middle school? So you say K through 12.
K through 12. Primarily we're in elementary and middle school. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's normally like a 6-week program.
Mm-hmm.
We stretch it out for 6 weeks, and then each week we deal with a different subject.
Okay.
And then so just making sure that we're diving into a particular subject, such as like self-respect. Right?
Self-respect.
So, that's something that there's a lot to it to kind of unravel as far as self-respect. But in order to, first of all, to have respect, you got to first have to have self-respect. You got to first have to value yourself before you can learn to value others or learn to respect others. Oftentimes in schools, it's just taught as, just respect the teachers, respect. But what about, you got to first respect yourself. Right. Treat yourself with dignity and treat yourself with respect. And then, it'll be a better outcome. So, but we dive into things like that. So just to make sure that it's concentrated, we can really make sure the students get it. But also, okay, now how are you going to apply this? Right. That's the thing about our programming. We want to make sure that it's being applied. I'm challenging you. What can you do now? What are these next steps? Even in elementary school, okay, what is it that we can do next to where even after you live this program is something that is applicable, right? So you can definitely use it. So, yeah.
So when did you start Do the Math 24/7?
So originally started in Southern California.
Okay.
In Orange County, California. We were working in schools out there.
Okay.
And then, but once I moved out here, it's just pretty much we've been hitting the road hard, and so to speak. Can we redo that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Okay.
So when did Do the Math start?
So it originally started in Southern California when I was living out there. We were working in schools and whatnot, and then eventually I moved out here, and that's when I really hit the pavement hard, going into schools and really just being more present in schools. So so out here I would say probably about close to 3 years.
Okay, so are you a speaker? Like, do you go into schools and speak to the kids and like do PowerPoints and stuff like that, or are you actually hands on, like going into the classrooms?
Good question. So yeah, I would say both. So we definitely do assemblies. We
Mm-hmm.
do assemblies. We had an assembly like at Harding Middle School with the
Hardy.
leadership group, and we did an assembly there. So we could definitely do assemblies. Sometimes we taught the student leader groups, student councils, or we go into the classroom.
Uh-huh.
And then so it just really depends. I had a group of 6 kids that I had programming with, 6 students. So it just really depends on one thing I like to say is tailor.
Uh-huh.
We tailor to each school needs depending on what they want, and then that's how we move to what their desire is. So yeah, it just really depends. But we
So
do it all. So do the math does it all.
for sure. So with bullying, do you mostly focus on people that's getting bullied in their schools, or can you just elaborate more
Yeah.
about that?
Yes. Yeah, I would say just students in general.
Okay.
Because yeah, it goes from both sides. Because I think that we've been bullied and we have bullied before,
Right, right.
in some form or fashion. Because there's different types of bullying. When I was growing up, not saying I'm that much older, but it was more the physical bullying, right? It was
Uh-huh.
more putting a kid in a headlock or whatever it is. It's more physical. But now it's more social media. Now it's more mental. Now it's more um, you know, cyber stalking or harassment or
Mm.
excluding people, different things like that. So it just hits different now. So one thing about us, we make sure that we cover all the different types of
Uh-huh.
bullying, making sure students understand that it could be little things that you're doing. But that could be a form of bullying, just so
Right,
they're
right.
aware of it and don't automatically think it's something that's physical because no, it can be silent, but it can be deadly as well. So yeah, I would say that, and just making sure that empathy, making sure the students understand what empathy is and how do you put yourself in that student's shoes,
Right, right.
knowing that you've been bullied before. So if you've been bullied before, we all know how it feels to be bullied, some kind of way, right?
Well, I always fought, so
But some kind of way, you know,
yeah, yeah. But I definitely understand
as
people.
far as being attacked or
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know
being bullied. Yeah,
so but yeah, so if you felt that before, why is it that you would want to do that to somebody else? And really kind
exactly.
of looking into that, because number one, it can happen to you again and it doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And do we actually feel good when we have bullied someone or done something or name talked or just done something that you affected some person? Do you really feel good about yourself? Probably not.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
the end of the day, I mean, it may puff you up a little bit, but probably not a whole lot. So what can we do as students, as community advocates, as teachers, as parents, to try to address this bullying issue and understanding that it is an issue, and what are the small things that we can do to make sure that we're at least softening, we're closing the gap on bullying.
I don't really know, but what we did in Chicago, what we did was have block club parties for the kids. We'll bring everybody in the neighborhood or everybody on that specific block and have one big party, and all the kids would come have so much fun when I was a kid. So I think we should just do a lot of more fun things for the kids, and I think that'll stop the bullying.
Yeah, yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, since we don't know what another student is going through, that's important for other students to realize that, because
Yeah,
when you are bullying or being mean to another student, you don't know what that student is thinking about as they're going home. You
right.
don't know what's going on in that home that can really be affected. They may laugh it off. I've joked it, made fun of different people, and I'm not saying making fun of a person is necessarily bullying. I'm not saying that, but I know I've done some things to where you don't know how that could affect that person. I don't know what that person is going through at home. So I think that as students, as parents, and community advocates, we need to make sure that the students realize that since you don't know, be aware of that.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
be aware of that.
So I want to ask you again about the when you going into the schools. Are y'all doing workshops too?
Yes, we do workshops as well. We're going to be doing a workshop at I Making Board in Iowa, which is on Friday, February 9th at the Horizon Center. So we're having a workshop there
Mhm.
for the the African American festival that's there. So as part of the Education Day, this is our second year doing it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we do have different series on bullying, just so one thing about bullying, you can stretch it out because there's so
Right.
much more so much to deal with. So we can do it in an hour, or we can stretch it out to about a six series class. So it depends. So
Oh, okay. And I see you go by like 4 concepts, right?
yes,
It was. Don't edit this. It was subtract, multiply, divide, and equal, right?
and add.
And add, right?
Do that again.
Okay. So you go by 5.
Yeah, five.
So 5.
Yeah,
So you go by 5 concepts, right?
5 math symbols. Yep.
So it is add, subtract, multiply, divide, and equal. And add, it says empathy, inclusion, teamwork, and subtract is bullying, injustice, stereotypes, racism. Multiply is kindness, understanding, acceptance. Divide is indivisible. We're strong, unified, and equal is equality for all. Can you please explain that for us?
Yes. So math is one of the only universal languages
Right,
in the world.
right,
So we decided to use math symbols because
Right.
that's something that's universal. So our message is universal.
right.
So that's how we're using the math symbols. What is it the way that we first of all, we all do the math, right?
Right, we
You
are.
know what I'm saying? But just the way that we all put it together, what is something that we can do that is relatable and something that can be a constant reminder to do the math? So when we think of add, it could be positivity,
Positive, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be caring more. It could
Yeah.
be self-confidence.
Yeah.
How we all have an equation.
Yeah,
You utilize that equation to how it relates to your life. So of
Yeah.
course, what you read out is our initial message.
right.
But we do switch up the words because there's depending on it's a different meaning
Mm-hmm.
or a different vibe we maybe want to get. But it's always either you're adding, you're subtracting something. What is it that we can add more on a daily basis, and what are some things that we can take away?
Right.
Maybe I need to be more self-confident, but maybe I need to subtract being as negative or worrying as much. The Bible even talks about praying without worrying, right? Come on. So I need to be making sure that I'm showing that faith
Right.
and less of the worrying because I've already prayed about it's going to happen. I need to just start working in that,
Right.
right? So that's an equation in itself, right?
Yeah.
So it just depends on how is it that it relates to you. But what you read out was pretty much our message.
Oh, that's your message for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
And it's a
okay.
universal language. It's something that I look at do the math 24/7 as one of the newer peace signs
Mm-hmm.
of the world. It
Mhm.
can be. It covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's universal,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way we look at it. So we want to eventually tap into, like with the NFL, the NBA,
No cap.
corporate. Right now, I do a little bit of corporate training right
Uh-huh.
now with the State of Iowa Department of Health and Human Services on unconscious bias in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So I do motivational speaking as well. I spoke a few times at Drake University,
Oh man.
and different speaking opportunities. So, the main thing is just to get the message out there, whether that's in school, whether it's with our apparel, in the community,
Mhm.
different events we're part of. You see me on the street with, just whatever it is, we want the message.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the shirt, man.
Yes,
Y'all got a lot of merch.
Yes, we got a lot. So, and I do all the designs myself, and I try to swap them out. But this is one of them. It's called Bloom. We can all bloom. And it's a constant reminder is let's always be blooming. Let's always challenge ourselves to continue growing. And you can look at bloom as something that you're just you're enhancing and whatnot. So that's something that we look at as far as that's something that we need to be constantly doing. It's just to bloom, just to show our greatness and to spread our greatness, spread our love, and pass the positive energy. So there's a lot of negativity, a lot. Honestly, I could probably get more hits and whatnot if I was more negative, but I choose the positive route, the positive
Mhm.
road, and that's something that we want to stay on because it's a lot of negativity that is going on out here.
No cap,
Yeah, so
man.
we definitely have a lot of merchandise. Definitely have a
Yeah.
lot of merchandise. again, I swap them out. There's some new stuff we're coming out as far as bullying. It's a different way of looking at bullying, kind of like changing the narrative, changing a negative to a positive. So when you look at, it's like an acronym, BULLY, B, and the U stands for being understanding. The L stands for lifting up others.
Mm-hmm.
And the L and the Y stands for loving yourself. So being understanding, lifting up others, as well as loving yourself. So just trying to look at bullying in a different way. So
Right.
there's different ways that we can look at it. And, hopefully some of the real bullies would change it to a new type of bully. And start to look at some of those things, start to be an understanding. Because when you look at a bully, they tend to what? They don't care about what anyone. They just want to affect that person. They want to, whatever they want to do, they're going to affect that person because that's what they want to do, right?
Right.
Right. But the opposite of that is what? Being understanding now. I'm showing
Yes.
empathy.
Yeah.
I see that person. Do I want to really hurt that person or really make that person feel bad? Do I really put myself in their shoes? How do they feel? I don't want that for myself. So being more empathetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at the lifting of others, what does a bully normally do? Tear down.
Tear down.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The opposite is what? You lift up, you encourage,
Mm-hmm.
you're spreading positivity versus tearing down. And then love yourself. Oftentimes when you look at, bullying, it's because they've been bullied. Sometimes it's what? Insecurity.
Yeah.
Come on. Insecurity. Not feeling as confident in themselves. So in return, they want to hurt somebody else so they can feel better about themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's just classic. So, but the opposite of that is what? Loving yourself.
Loving yourself.
Self-confidence, self-care, positive affirmations. If you're more focused on loving yourself, you don't got time to be trying to tear down somebody else because that feeling of loving yourself. Why would you want somebody else to have a worse feeling or have a worse feeling? You want them to be able to feel that same positive energy, right?
Right. Right.
So again, what we're going to do, let's be understanding more.
Understand.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Lifting up others and loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We need to bully. Let's bully.
Oh man.
Come on, let's bully. Right? And I have a sweater coming out. It's going to drop soon.
Yeah, I was
And
finna
it
say.
just says bully.
Yeah, I was gonna
But it
say
breaks
new
it down,
merch.
though.
You got new merch dropping. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. He got
so-
new merch dropping. So
New
y'all
merch.
stay tuned for that, man.
Me too.
Stay tuned for that. So yeah, so I know you got our Make Me a World coming up. Is it any more workshops you're doing around the city?
Yes, so we have we're doing some programming for elementary schools and middle schools. Middle schools, we're going to start next month. It's going to be a week's middle school.
Okay.
It's offered to all middle school students within Des Moines Public Schools.
Mm-hmm.
So do the math 24/7. We are a community partner with Des Moines Public Schools. So, all middle school students have access to be a part of this program. So, and then right after that, the week after spring break, we're going to be at King Elementary for another after-school program. It's a character building, same thing, character building after-school program. And they're going to be touching on peer pressure, leadership, teamwork, bullying, of course.
Man.
I may have bullying in 2 different sessions as far as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we're going to be doing something with another organization. It's in the works, but stay tuned for that. But yeah,
Stay tuned.
Our goal is to jump from a middle school to elementary, then a high school, and just to make sure that we're trying to touch all schools. We also have tutoring. We're doing tutoring right now, math and English tutoring. So we have that. We have a few teachers that are tutors that are going to be helping us out with tutoring. And then I'm working on something to kind of deal with literacy.
Literacy.
With reading.
Yeah.
So again, some mentors coming in and helping at different schools to read.
Yeah.
To really help with literacy. So that's a big issue. A lot of the recent Des Moines Public Schools School Board community conversation meetings they've had, one of the main issues that parents mention that they really want to address is what's going to be done to address literacy.
Mm-hmm.
The reading and writing part with middle school, elementary, and high school. What's going to be done? These test scores need to get up. And,
yeah.
Kids are being passed through, not knowing how to read.
Yeah.
And that's the foundation of success, knowing how to read and write. You got to have that.
Mm-hmm.
You need that. So what is it that we can do as community members coming together and as stakeholders and figuring this out, using this ecosystem, I think a lot of times that we depend on, kind of the school budgets and whatnot, and to have some of these programs. But sometimes the schools don't have the budget. Sometimes they don't have, to really, do things like that. But we can, as a community, it's an ecosystem. We go in and help read with these kids, right? We help go in and mentor. We can be the ones that can go in. We can go in and use our corporate, volunteer time, our work volunteer time, to go in and read to these students, and be mentors, and to show them the way and to help them. So I think that's something that, as a community, that we can do. So that's something, kind of a campaign I'm going to be starting soon, figuring out a way to where we need to come together as a community and figure this out. So
for real,
we have the tools, and I know, I can't say I know for a fact, but a lot of companies do offer volunteer time.
Yeah.
Why not utilize that to be mentors and read to these kids? Perfect. It's a perfect situation. So, and it's free.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a win-win. Yeah. We're utilizing our work hours to volunteer. The kids are benefiting. That's a win-win. So stay tuned on that. So just a little.
Stay tuned, man.
So, more to come. As well as I'm actually starting a podcast as well.
Oh yeah, you starting a podcast?
So it's called Math Talk.
For sure.
So it's going to be coming out soon, but just kind of stay tuned. But in the meantime, you can always follow me on Instagram. It's do the math 247. Just do the math
24/7, man.
247. Sure. And then our website is 101math247.com. Definitely like us, share our information. It's very positive. We're doing a lot of great stuff. Just like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then we're going to continue to move forward, because at the end of the day, it's about the students, it's about these kids. It's about being in this community, making sure that, we're leaving a legacy. We're impacting these kids, man. They need us in these schools. They really do. So whatever I can do, whatever you can do, just to make sure that we're being encouraging for these kids, because they need it. And their future is bright. They want it. They want to be successful. And let's just make sure that we can make it happen for them. So,
man, for sure.
Yes.
Like I say, man, we learned a lot about bullying and bully. Yes. And the word bully broken down. He broke it all the way down.
The math 24/7 way.
Man, for real. So, like I say, I appreciate you, Kenny, for explaining, coming down, sitting down with me and explaining what do the math is, and I'm glad I learned more about what you're doing as far as do the math 24/7. I'm glad you taught me a lot about that, for sure. I learned a lot. And I hope y'all learned something too.
Yes.
For sure. Like and share, subscribe, Main Topic Media Podcast, man. We out. And like I say, we got merch dropping. He got merch dropping. Look out for his podcast, man. We doing big things in the community, man.
Yeah.
And also, Kenny, I want to introduce you to the new segment we introduced to the show. Main Topic Media is called Spin the Record, where everybody that comes on the show, artists, anybody, they pick their favorite record and artists, you know what I mean, and show the people and reveal to the people who they pick. So we're going to let y'all know what Kenny picked. Let's go.
Okay, well, it was tough. There's so much. I mean, it's tough. but you can never go wrong with Michael Jackson Thriller. MJ's a man. Will always be that man, that guy. And I gotta go with the Thriller.
No cap, man. Let's go. Let's go. We out of here, man. Main Topic Media Podcast. Gang.
Bring the bag, man.